Shalom and welcome, family. I want to thank everyone who's here with us today. My name is Adiel. I'll be your host today, and this discussion is being brought to you by the Universal Temple of Israel, the Universal Temple of Yahweh. Let's go ahead and get things underway with the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. We want to give honor, glory, and thanks to our Heavenly Father, Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh Yahweh, before we do anything else. Tefillah, Abenu Sheba Shemayim, Yikadeh Shemeaka, Tavu Makuteaka, Yazir Rizonka, Kiba Shemayim, Kain Ba'aretz, Elekem Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslak Lanu, All Katienu, Kimoshe Solkim, Gamanaknu, Lykotem Lanu, Veal Tefienu, Ladeni Sayom, King Asenu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Lea Givera, Vea Tifiereth, Leolame, Olamin, Sila. Praise Yahweh, and thank you again, family. If I must be honest, this is actually the second time I've recorded this particular discussion and message. Not because there was anything wrong with the first one. It's just the Creator had been giving me a bit of a revelation for about the last week. And I don't feel that I hammered that particular part of it home enough for the listening family. So we're going to go ahead and do this again. And I hope that I can convey what He has blessed me with to the best of my abilities. So as we all know, we are very quickly approaching the 7th Hebrew month. That puts us at the halfway point in the year. And so our next high holy day coming up is actually the memorial blowing of trumpets. It takes place sundown September 15th. Let's go in the Bible really quickly and let's read a little bit about it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to Leviticus chapter 23. We're going to go to verse 23. And we're going to read to verse 25. And it reads, And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord Yahweh. I want to read one more thing, family, because this relates to the memorial blowing of trumpets. These two things are interconnected. They just kind of exist in parallel. One happens yearly, and then one happens every 50 or so years. So if we go forward to Leviticus chapter 25, and then we go to verse 8, it reads, And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. All right, so we see here something interesting. That in this same time period, in the 7th month, during this time, we have both the memorial blowing of trumpets, but then we have a blowing that happens on the 50th year for freedom. Now, this particular season, the 7th month, is actually this is actually the season in which the children of Israel left Egypt, and this is the last high holy day, and this is the one most closely associated with faith, because the children of Israel are commanded to dwell in booths, and they're commanded to step away from all the comforts, right, that they had in Egypt, and rely solely on the Creator Yahweh. Okay? Remember, it's also associated with Jubilee, where every man is returned unto their family. And as Israel and as children of the Most High God, Yahweh, we are to return to Him. We are to be free, right? Free of the trappings of Egypt and return unto our family. Now, it means something else too. It means those who do not belong to Him, it's during this same time that they are to return to their families and their possessions. Now, if you want to get an idea of that, go back to the book of Genesis and read about the story of of Cain and Abel. Read that story again and read what the Creator Yahweh says to Cain, and then you can get an understanding of their possession and their family. So there's a few things I want to go ahead and break down real quick. Memorial in Hebrew, it is the Hebrew entry H2146. It is the Hebrew word zakron. It means a reminder and a remembrance. We're going to bring everything together once we get these three words out of the way. Blowing, which is the Hebrew H8643. It is the term teruah. It means alarm, a sound, or a signal. It means a shout of joy or a war call. The last of these terms is convocation, which is H4744. It is mikra. It means a calling together. Okay? The 7th month is the last of the high holy months, right? The last of the high holy months wherein we have high holy days. Outside of the reoccurring Sabbaths, right? The perennial Sabbaths. We have these high holy days, and this is the last month. It begins with a memorial blowing of trumpets, and it ends with a holy convocation. It begins with a reminder, an alarm sound, and it ends with a coming, right? A calling to come together. Okay? We all know the importance of the number 7 in the Bible. Okay? 7 represents the time in which earthly toils are to cease. We get rest. That's what the 7 represents. And so, as you know, we are in the 7,000th year, right? The 7th day in terms of thousands of years. We're in that day now. So I want to discuss two things concerning the word blowing, right? We all know that Israel needs a reminder. We need constant reminders. If there isn't anything you've learned through the Old Testament about Israel, then know this. Israel is a stubborn people, and they need constant reminders. The Creator Yahweh spent a long time reminding the children of Israel, time and time again, about the covenant that their forefathers made, that they also agreed to. So we're going to discuss two parts of the blowing, right? First, we're going to talk about this shout of joy, right? What is this all about? We're shouting for joy because we know and we can see and we witness the Creator Yahweh doing His work. We witness Him bringing prophecy to pass. We witness Him going to work on spiritual Egypt, right? And it's also a shout for joy because very shortly after, we're given the opportunity to reconcile ourselves collectively to our family, to our Father, the Creator Yahweh, in the Day of Atonement. We are given the opportunity to be free, right? This is the reason why specifically the blowing for Jubilee occurs on the Day of Atonement, right? It happens on the Day of Atonement specifically because the Day of Atonement is designed as a day in which all men, right? It means men and women are to be free from the weight and the burden of sin and guilt, right? We should be joyful for that, right? The Creator Yahweh has given us the ability to loose the chains of sin every year so that we are no longer bound or accountable by those past sins if we choose to repent. He allows biblical perfection to be attainable because he gives us his gift. And for that reason, we make a shout of joy. Simultaneously, it is also a war call. Why is it a war call? It's a war call for both Israel to step up and go to war. And we're not talking about physical war, okay? Family, I must stand on this and let you know that at least from the times of Yehoshua, son of Yosef, we need to understand that the days of Israel physically going to war with another nation, physically going to war with their oppressor and winning a war, one man taking out 1,000. This is the thing that they were looking for back in his day, and he was there to tell them, no, it is not so. I'm here to tell you the same thing. Those days are over with. This war is not going to be fought with weapons. At least not weapons forged by the hands of man. This war is being fought for the souls of the blind, deaf, and the dumb. Right? It's a war being fought for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It's a war being fought for all people who have a propensity towards righteousness, but are in error because the leaders cause them to err. And this war is being fought with the truth. It is being fought with the truth against those who are wielding lies. And just like their father, the devil, they wield these lies alongside truth in order to make them more compelling. Go back to Genesis. Look at what the serpent did. He always threads his falsehood with the truth so that you will accept it. I want to read a couple verses real quick. I want to go to Proverbs chapter 28. Proverbs chapter 28 and 1. It says, the wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. I have to say this because those of you who are watching, based on when this happened, you know what the recent events have been, right? And I feel so blessed because the Creator Yahweh had revealed a very important thing concerning all of this to me at least a week ago, and it's been on my mind since, and it's been on my spirit to inform all the family, to share this with the family. And so, in watching him unveil that which occurs, I see very clearly that he is at work in the land. And I'm so blessed and so grateful for it. As righteous, we must be bold. We must be bold in telling the truth. We must be bold in teaching. We must be bold in exemplifying righteousness. These are things we must do. But at the same time, I must help you to understand that the wicked are being ever more wicked, and they're being more brazen in their wickedness, and they're lashing out evermore. And so we must understand, and in our boldness, it must be tempered with wisdom. Let's now go to Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. And this reads, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." Now, if we understand this particular chapter in the context of this chapter, this is talking about, we just got finished the verse before. It's talking about Judgment Day, right? And you're going to find something interesting is that the devil recognizes that his day of judgment is come. Many of them are trembling, and many of them are screaming out and resisting and fighting back the inevitable. They've been blinded, their hearts have been hardened, and they cannot find the door to redemption. They are lost. And that is a curse placed upon them by the Creator Yahweh for touching his anointed. So we must make sure to always speak the truth boldly, but speak it in a way that does not put us at risk. And that's an easy thing to do. Okay? We must understand that a lot of Jacob's blood has been shed over the last so many centuries. So much of Jacob's blood has been shed. While I'm certain that the Creator Yahweh definitely recognizes your willingness to fall on your own sword, I'm also sure that he is not asking and demanding you do so because the other nations, he's about to make them fall on theirs. These other nations are going to fight the wars that he's going to hold back from us. Enough of Jacob's blood has been spilled already. We are here fighting with words. We are here fighting with the truth against the lies. I want to go to another set of verses. We're going to go to Psalms chapter 83. Psalms chapter 83, verses 1 through 5. And so I said that we have to be sure to speak the truth, but speak it in wisdom, right? We have to be as wise as serpents in our speaking of the truth. As we go out amongst these wolves, we must be wise. And we must understand that there are times in which we hold our peace because we have the greatest weapon of all, which is the Creator Yahweh, who will fight for us when we are not able. Psalms 83:1, a song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O God Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. We know that this took place in the past, and we know it is continuing to take place. They would prefer us remain in the grave, remain blind, deaf, and dumb to our inheritance and to our Creator, Yuhewape, Yahweh, to our language, to our land, to our history. It is our job, those of us who have arisen, for those of us who are awoke, right? And we're not talking about this crazy political, social woke stuff. We're talking about being awake from spiritual sleep. Those of us who are awake, it is our job to rouse and wake our fellow man who is still slumbering. We see here that they are going to work tirelessly to put a stumbling block before us, before all that we do. But we have to keep working. We have to keep working. We have to keep telling the truth and dismantling lies. And while we do this, the Creator Yahweh will put upon the spirit of Gentile nations to do the same. In the national prayer, we say something interesting. We say, it sounds like something that, Christian philosophy would tell you shouldn't do. You shouldn't pray these sorts of things. But I can tell you these prayers actually come from the Bible. They come from biblical verses. We say, let them be confounded that persecute us, but let not us be confounded. Let our enemies be dismayed, but let not us be dismayed. We're talking about those who are wicked, those who are indelibly wicked. Let them be confounded in their attempts at stopping the will of God Yahweh from being done in the earth. Let them be dismayed. Let their plans be dismayed as they work against us. This is what we're talking about. I want to let you know something else. Something I was doing recently in another presentation. There's something that actually happens in the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament. I'm going to start in John chapter 5, though. So let me go ahead and find that. John chapter 5. Okay. John chapter 5, verse 29. Now, this right here is talking about the end times. It's a reference to Daniel chapter 12. And I want you to pay attention to this, okay? Verse 29 reads, I'm going to go to verse 28 because it helps to put a little context to it, okay? Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in the which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice. And shall come forth they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. I need you to understand something about resurrection here. We're not talking about physical bodies resurrecting from the dead. You've never seen anyone who claims to be a believer ever bring anybody back from the dead, and you're not going to see that because this is not what this is talking about. Resurrection means standing someone up from a seated or lying position. And in this case, it's talking about from the dead. And the dead here is talking about spiritual death. It's talking about one of two terms in the Old Testament. One that represents the literal death and one that represents the physical death. The physical death, right? This particular root set, damam, it means silence, deafness, inactivity, slumber. It means spiritual stasis. So when people open their eyes, when they're brought up, there are some people that are going to resurrect to life, and there are some people that are going to resurrect to damnation. Okay? This is dovetailed in Daniel chapter 12, which I'm going to go to next. Daniel chapter 12, verse 2 and 3. And it reads, "And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth." See, this gives some more context when it says sleep in the dust of the earth. That's a spiritual thing. And those of you who are listening, those of you who have eyes to see, ears to hear, do so. Do your research. It becomes pretty evident what this is talking about. "And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt." Verse 3, "And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever." This is actually referenced in the New Testament as well. Those who seek to teach righteousness and turn people back to the Creator Yahweh, it is those who will shine forever. It is those of you who the resurrection to life belongs to. Understand that the devil, he likes to mix truth and lie. So keep that in mind as you traverse all these perilous waters, right? That's a spiritual thing as well. I want to go to one more thing. Psalms chapter 15, verse 1 and 2. Psalms chapter 15, verses 1 and 2. And it reads, "A psalm of David. Lord Yahweh, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly, and worketh righteousness, and speaketh truth in his heart." It has been stated who these people are. When you do the will of Yahweh, then you are his family. And in the year of Jubilee, and in the blowing of the trumpet, and in that 50th year, when all men are returned to their family, this is the family you should want to be a part of. As we blow this trumpet, right, during the memorial blowing of trumpets, which I will say again, happens sundown September 15th until sundown September 16th. It's through this time period, I must say it again, that we're not to do any servile work. Okay? We are to remind Israel, right, of the laws, the statutes, the judgments and commandments of Yahweh, right? We're to remind them that they are Israel. We're to go to the lost sheep, remind them of who they are. Remind them of the covenant that their forefathers made, the covenant that they are subject to. We remind them to come together. We may not have forever to get over our petty differences. This is what Day of Atonement is for. We should not be holding on to those differences. You may not be able to get through this by yourself. The Creator Yahweh may put you in a position where you have to work together with one of your brothers and sisters in order to make this work. We're to remind them to come together, to put aside those differences, and to see each other as a brother or a sister becoming a brother or a sister. We've been telling you for the longest here at the Universal Temple of Israel that you need to buy silver and gold quickly. There are a lot of things happening in the world. And before this is all done with, things are going to get very, very rough that are going to cause a lot of people to do a lot of shameful and reprehensible things. People, when they are hungry, will do some things that, I'll tell you, if you don't believe there's things you can do in order to get to heaven, then surely you can believe there are things you can do in order to get you to the other place. If you subscribe to all of that in that way, in that literal sense, right? So in order not to be caught up in the things that many of those who are being led by false shepherds are going to be caught up in, understand, family, read the writing on the wall. You need to go ahead and get silver and gold quickly. It is already going up tremendously, and it is only going to get worse. And when nations start employing digital currencies, and nations will no longer trade currencies between one another because they're all digital and don't mean anything, there must be a universal means of exchange, right? A universal means in which all goods can be ascribed a value, right? Something that cannot just be created out of thin air. And there are only two things that I can think of that fit that bill. They've been the two things that have always, in the history of man, fit that bill. And they are gold and silver. I remind you to reference the book of Revelations concerning that. For those of you who say you love the Son of Man, listen to his counsel. Okay? Please do it before it is too late. With everything that has been happening, family, understand. Our enemies, and when I say our enemies, I don't mean your brother and sister who you trespassed against or trespassed against you, and y'all got a little thing going on. That's not your enemy. Your enemy is the enemy of God, Yahweh. Your enemy, aka in the biblical sense, your opponent, is he who chooses to work wickedness while you choose to work righteousness. That is, by definition, your opponent. You are working two opposite ends. Okay? Period. Point blank. No debate there. Your enemy is seeking whom he may devour. Do not make yourself an empty target. I'm going to read another verse before I let you go, family. We have to remember, please, family, please, 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 we are not in this battle alone. The Creator Yahweh has our backs. He is at our side. He is our sword and our shield. Remember, being humble in the biblical sense means allowing yourself to be led by the Spirit of God, Yahweh. It means seeing what he wants you to see. It means hearing his voice and not your own. It means being humble, right? and being meek in the face of Yahweh. That's what this means. You're to be bold in the truth and to be bold in demonstrating the righteousness, but you're to be humble before the Creator Yahweh, allowing Him to lead you, allowing Him to direct you, right? Moving when He says move, and staying and holding your peace when He says hold your peace. I want to read a couple of things. Daniel chapter 12, verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. The Creator Yahweh is giving you eyes to be able to see and ears to be able to hear, so that you understand what is going on. The wicked who continue to do wickedly, to continue to spew wickedness and lies concerning His children and His secret ones, as Psalms 83 mentioned, those same people are dismayed right now at the things that have occurred. They don't know how it occurred. They don't know how the exact opposite of everything they hate, right? Everything they hate and blame everything on. They don't understand how the exact opposite could perpetrate such a thing against them. Those who are wise, those who are humble, right? Those who are meek before the Creator Yahweh, they already know. Psalms chapter 37. Psalms chapter 37, verse 11 through 15. I'm going to tell you, I love being outside in the world which He created. There's a peace in it, and it makes it easy to listen to Him. Psalms chapter 37, 11 through 15. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord Yahweh shall laugh at him, for He seeth that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow, to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. So, family, those words of encouragement are prophecy as well. The Creator Yahweh has this all figured out. And the destruction of the gods of this world, the undoing of their societies, was already written. And they have been blinded, cursed with a curse. Their hearts have been hardened, and they cannot correct their paths. They will not be able to find their way to the door of redemption, and their time and days are numbered. Hold fast, family. Be strong. Be faithful. Be strong and be courageous. For the Lord Yahweh is going to be with you wherever you go. Speak the truth boldly, but speak it in wisdom. Be always meek and humble before Him, and the battle is already won. I love you all, family. I thank you all for being here with me. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Shalom, shalom, aniyahab.